And then you have people marching with Iran flags in the UK, in London. Meanwhile, in Iran, they're saying death to England. But we know that these people don't actually care about their own countries. Here's also another point. Since many people have pointed out and said, oh, so Israel is capable of carrying out precision strikes, then why did they have to flatten all those buildings in Gaza? Now, we have played this before, but gotta play it again. Here is Hamas themselves explaining exactly why.
قام بتشييد 500 كيلومتر من الأنفاق لماذا لم يشيد
Since you have built 500 kilometers of tunnels,
لم يشيد مآوي يلجأ إليها
why haven't you built bomb shelters where civilians can hide during bombardments? That's the question. Here is Hamas.
المدنيون خلال القصف.
نحن شيدنا الأنفاق
We have built the tunnels because we have no other way
لا نملك ما ندفع
of protecting ourselves from being targeted and killed.
به عن أنفسنا من القتل والاستهداف هذه الأنفاق من أجل أن نحمي أنفسنا من
These tunnels are meant to protect us from the
الطائرات.
airplanes.
نحمي مقاتلين
We are fighting from inside the tunnel.
من الأنفاق. أما القطاع غزة فأنت تعلم والجميع.
Everybody knows that 75% of the people in the Gaza Strip are refugees. This is, by the way, a deceptive narrative where they declare the Gazan population officially refugees because they give them the hope that one day they will take the Israeli land and those refugees will settle there.
الجميع يعلم بأنه 75% منه لاجئين واللاجئين هو مسؤولية
And it is the responsibility of the United Nations to protect.
الأمم المتحدة في حماية.
So according to Hamas spokesperson himself, they don't build shelters for the civilian population because it is not Hamas's responsibility to protect the civilian population. It is the responsibility of the United Nations. So what he's basically saying is, we don't really care about the civilian population and their defense. What we're doing is just to build tunnels so we can fight against Israel. This is why Israel has to bomb even civilian apartment buildings and all that, because these people are embedded under the civilian population, among the civilian population. They have no regard for the civilians involved here. And Israel has no choice left after 2 decades of attacks than to do what they're doing right now in Gaza.
Can you imagine if Israel had like the same strategy that these guys have? What would they do? They'd launch an attack on Iran. They go blow up take out Iran's nuclear program and a bunch of their leaders and stuff. Then all the military and all the leaders run and hide in bunkers and so on, and leave everyone else up on the surface with no protection, and just let them get blown to bits, and then go, look, Iran is genociding us. Oh my goodness, they're targeting. Fortunately, Israel's in a bunch of sniveling cowards.
Here's a funny video. Here's a video which shows exactly the kind of stuff that happens in Gaza. In this video, you will see a civilian apartment building bombed by Israel. But of course, you will also see in what context and why it is bombed. Here you have a civilian building. Out of that building, a Hamas terrorist leans out with an RPG launcher and fires it from the civilian building and goes back inside.
And then so Israel says, there's terrorists, bomb it. And then they go, look, they're bombing civilian residences. Oh my goodness, it's a genocide.
Guess what happens next? Well, now we will see what happens next. Here's the building in question. Boom. Boom. And you know what the news say? Israel just bombed a civilian apartment building. And the global outrage then goes with, why is Israel doing this? Only Israel is this evil. Look, they bombed this apartment because they don't care about non-Jews. it's because these people are Arabs, Muslims. That's why this is literally genocide. Literally, the same day, this will be reported as Israel bombing a civilian building, and people will start crying about how Israel is committing a genocide. Now watch this again without commentary. Just watch it through.